NBA Central put it out. I'm going to share it with you. We can all look at it together. Let me share this with you guys so you guys can see the same thing that I'm looking at here. Sometimes I actually truly believe people do this primarily because they will get clicks and people will be talking about it. The Ringer put out their top 25 players in the NBA, updated. So this is not that uncommon for people to do this on a more common basis once the season's going. Guys, look where Anthony Davis is. AD is down at number 8. You know, it's funny. And I don't know what the league perception is of Anthony Davis. I just know that I'm watching him every single game. Every single game I'm watching Anthony Davis like everybody else is. Every single game, if you're a Laker fan, you're looking at what this guy is doing. He's not just putting up 35 and 14s, but he's also dominating the other side. He's doing it every single night. There's no question, at least so far this year, Anthony Davis should be in that MVP conversation. I don't really think many people disagree. Look at the MVP chase right now. Not MVP chase, the top 25 players in the league. Just look at the top 10, where they have Anthony Davis. They got Jokic in front of him, Luka in front of him, Giannis in front of him, Tatum in front of him, Shea, Steph, KD, then Anthony Davis at number 8. Can I just say this? I will just say this. Unless you're purposely putting Anthony Davis at number 8 because you're trying to get some clicks, unless you're purposely putting Anthony Davis at number 8 because you have not watched any Los Angeles Lakers basketball this year, but it's an absurd ranking to have Anthony Davis sitting at number 8. It is genuinely, and maybe I shouldn't fall into this trap where I'm starting to look at some of these other players, and I'm saying to myself, "Oh, what is this ranking? How can they do this? Blah blah blah." Maybe it's absurd to do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. But I catch myself doing it because it makes just no sense to me at all. How can you have Anthony Davis ranked number 8 right now in the NBA, and some of the players in front of him? This would be the only justification that I'd be okay with. The only justification I'd be okay with is if Lakers were getting their asses kicked, and instead of the Lakers being 10-4, that they were 4-10. That'd be the only justification where I could sit back and say, okay, you know what, I get it. Denver's 8-5, and I'm not going to take anything away from Jokic because Jokic is what he is. Denver's 8-5. Dallas is 8-7. I'm just looking at some of the players that are in front of him right now as I look at this. Let's look at a couple other players here. Giannis. Do you guys know where the Milwaukee Bucks are? They're 6-9. Who else is in front of that list? By the way, Joel Embiid at number 9 is absurd. Kevin Durant is off to a great start, but he's injured and he's had his injuries. The way you can't justify this list right here, and the way it is an absurd list, is strictly from that perspective that I just mentioned. The only way you can justify something like this is if the Lakers were not a good team and they were struggling and blah, 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 and all that stuff. Lakers are 10-4. They're third in the Western Conference. They're probably going to win another game tonight. They got a good chance to start out the season out 11-4. We'll see. Orlando's been playing good basketball, but they struggled yesterday. They'll be on a second of a back-to-back. It's pretty absurd to see that player ranking and think Anthony Davis should be at number 8. I didn't know, part of me thinks, do a lot of people now just kind of assume, well, Anthony Davis isn't going to keep this up? Well, your ranking is supposed to be for today. It's not supposed to be what it's going to be in a month or 2 months from now. Maybe people just don't respect Anthony Davis. Maybe there's a lot of, you guys remember this, how many different times when you had Charles Barkley and Shaq and the inside the NBA crew where they'd call them street clothes. It's not completely out of the ordinary for Anthony Davis to get disrespected, but not this year, guys. Last year, by the way, he played 76 games. But this year so far, I don't care if you're a Laker fan, you're not a Laker fan. I don't care, if you're a fan of the NBA, you got to be more respectful to Anthony Davis. And maybe that's not going to happen for a while. Maybe people are going to want to see a longer sample size. Maybe people are going to say to themselves, we don't care. Anthony Davis, he's on the floor too much. Or, you know what? He's not going to show up consistently enough. Through these first 14 games, if you don't think Anthony Davis is top 3 in the league, you're not watching Anthony Davis play. You're not watching Anthony Davis on a night in, night out basis. You're not watching Anthony Davis so far this year. Somebody else said something, and maybe you want to put Tatum there, maybe you don't, whatever the case is. Somebody said something to me, I think in one of the chats, where they said that whether Tatum, whether he's on the team or he's not, they're probably still going to be blowing out teams. Of course, you need him for a championship run, but I think the point they was making is there's so much talent on the Boston Celtics. You can get away with it with Tatum. You can't get away with it with Jokic. You can't get away with it with, certainly with Anthony Davis. You can't get away with it with guys like Luka. There's certain guys that are out there in the league, but damn, is there some disrespect around Anthony Davis. Number 8 on the list this year. I think the folks over at the Ringer are either just simply hating, which happens. That's fine. It happens. Or they are just not watching Lakers basketball. So none of that makes any sense to me. All right, let me look at some of the comments here. I'm curious. I wonder if people are going to, if they are going to back up Anthony Davis, or they're going to say, no, we need a little bit more, a little bit larger of a sample size. AD hate is crazy. Listen, and I think at the end of the day, who cares? It's not that big of a deal. Keep stacking up W's. Keep putting yourself in a position where you feel like the Lakers got a good chance of ending the regular season with a good record and everything else. But I'm with you on that one.